And good Saturday morning. Glad to have you along this morning. Welcome to Sports Talk, a beautiful, sunny, I hate to say it, almost fall-like temperature. Why tease us with these temperatures right before we head down a stretch of mid 90, to upper 90s?
Feels good out there today.
I'll take it whenever it comes.
A little tinge in the air today this morning.
Temperature.
I felt it last night as I was leaving the West Lincoln area.
63 right now. 61 was the lowest I saw it. I thought you might see a 5 in the front, but it didn't happen. But
felt good.
We'll take 61, and I promise you, with what's ahead next week,
gonna savor it till then.
Could affect high school football next week. Could affect some practice days.
Yeah,
with temperatures high enough, you may not get to go outside. And then I think one of the hottest days is maybe Friday.
Yeah, which is game day.
It is game day.
Of course.
So, only time will tell.
14-day forecast shows Friday as the hottest day in the next 14 days.
96?
96. Yeah.
96. And that's local here, right?
Yeah.
At our studio, 96. So
95 on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, good. Not quite as bad, right? What's the temperature level before it doesn't matter? 85?
Yeah.
Maybe on the human. Well, I wouldn't say that. If I worked outside, it would every step it goes up would matter.
Mm-hmm.
But for us at work indoors, you walk out and it's 85. I don't tell a lot of difference between 85 and 95. It's still hot. You get in the car, you could fry something.
For me, once it hits about 90, I don't like to leave for lunch. Because then I come back sweating when I come back from lunch. So,
how hard we have it!
Really hard.
And make sure I crank my car about 10 minutes before I go out.
10 minutes. One thing about the AC, it usually cools it off quick. It will cool it quicker than the heat in the winter will warm it, because you won't even have heat till the car gets a little bit warm. But that is nice to have the ability to do that remote start. Especially in the winter, if you got ice on the windshield and stuff like that.
Yeah, the winter is when it comes in.
Yep. I was looking through, just thinking about, we got a lot of scores to go over this morning. High school football kicked off in the area last night. Actually, Charlotte area kicked off on Thursday night with 2 games. A lot of games last night across the state. Also, one game today, an interstate matchup between Northwestern from South Carolina. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think everything's right. In Providence Day.
There's a couple that
first high school game ever in the Panthers Stadium, and I don't. Is it Bank of America now, or what? Is it something different? I don't know.
I think it's still Bank of America.
Okay, whatever what was the first name?
Erickson. It's not Erickson.
That was the first name
Erickson
that they ever had was Erickson. I remembered Erickson, but I didn't know if it was first or not. But
I think it was.
What are you looking up there? I thought you was getting ready to comment on the matchup today between.
Yeah, there's another game today.
Providence quarterback 5-star already committed.
I'm not sure.
We need to look that up. See if you can find anything on the Providence quarterback.
Providence Day quarterback.
Day, yes, yes. I'm sorry, Providence Day. Let's get that straight. It's
two
different ones.
I don't know where these other games are. They might just be at a home
today
stadium. Yeah, but Charlotte Christian plays Myers Park at noon. And then another big one is Huff.
Sounds like we're in a corn factory.
Huff and Burns, South Carolina, play tonight at 7.
So probably just I don't know. I don't know if it would be at a neutral site. It don't tell you the site.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Those aren't all at the Panther Stadium, but
no, just one.
They might be at a neutral site. I don't know.
Somebody can tell me something maybe about the quarterback at Providence. I think that is the one. I think he's the one that I remember last year toward the end of the season, Providence Day QB, and I feel sure he's at least a 4, but I'm thinking he's a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett, it might have been Notre Dame. I can't remember now. For some reason, Notre Dame,
Michigan.
Oh, well,
Michigan,
the hated rival.
Michigan, man.
So he's going to Michigan. Is he a 5-star?
Well,
Is
let me pull him up on
is
Rivals. Has him as a 4.
What's the difference between a 5-star and a 4-star?
1 star. I should be on your trivia team.
But realistically, I want to see the criteria by which they judge.
What's the difference between a 2 and a 3? I mean,
yeah, right. That's what I mean.
They just grade you.
Subjectivity.
You know, if I guess it's like in school, if you're getting an A or you're getting a B.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with a B. And teams celebrate when they sign 3 and 4 stars. It's not, there's not quite as many 5 stars come around.
A lot of teams do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
They should.
According to Rivals, he is the 5th ranked quarterback in the country.
Jaden Davis.
Probably a 5.
Jaden Davis.
And right. No, he's a 4-star.
Is he 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in front of him is C.J. Carr, who is committed to Notre Dame, who's the grandson of Lloyd Carr.
And committed to Notre Dame. You think Lloyd thinks that they did me wrong?
That too brute.
Well, maybe so, but maybe he don't want to go in with this guy, Jaden Davis.
Yeah, well, C.J. Carr committed first.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's.
But he already went to the portal. He might have committed to Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Michigan was one of his final schools, but
the sad thing about college athletics today is he may not wind up where he's committed to.
But then, of course, the three quarterbacks above those two. Guess what 3 schools they're going to?
SEC schools.
2 of them are.
Well, I mean, I want to say Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that leaves.
And who would the other one be?
Southern Cal or
no. Ohio State.
Ohio State. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Don't fault me for that.
So there are 3 5-star quarterbacks.
3 5-star quarterbacks
in the current senior class.
The best, just keep reeling them in.
And they're going to Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State.
If you were a 5-star, and I'll ask our listeners this: so if you were a 5-star quarterback today, got your choice, where are you going? I mean, and I'm not saying you're going to be behind anybody. You're going to get to go. You're going to get to play. You're going to be, everything's going to work out for you. And
I'd
you're
go
a 5-star.
to the quarterback guru, Lincoln Riley, USC.
Would you really?
Well, how many Heismans does he produce?
They're probably getting ready to get another. This year.
And that would be a 2-peat, right?
Who won it last year?
Caleb Williams. Did he not?
Oh, did he?
I think he did.
Is that right, Brett? Caleb Williams was Heisman Trophy winner a year ago and is the front runner for it again. I can't remember if he won it last year.
I'm not 100% sure.
Does the Heisman have the glamour that it once did?
There's some glamour, but I don't think it's the.
Yeah, it was Caleb Williams last year.
Yeah. That's Brett's favorite quarterback.
We haven't had a repeat.
But no, I'm with Mike. I think I would, if I was neutral and didn't have a favorite team, I would probably go to Southern Cal.
I mean, most of the time, every now and then it works out, but most of the time the SEC's not really. You want the best quarterback, but it's not really geared around.
Yeah.
Let's look at how the SEC quarterbacks do in the pros.
And Ohio State would be the second.
Well, that started
choice.
to change a little bit.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty good now, but they didn't used to. Ohio State, what?
I said that would be the second choice.
Yeah. Yep. Possibly.
Florida has had a great past with quarterbacks. I mean, now like you said there, Mike, some of theirs didn't make it as good in NFL that had big numbers. Of course, Steve Spurrier happened to be walking the sidelines when they had their best years, and that makes a difference too. He was a guy that liked to air it out, the SEC's, just think about it. Joe Burrow, I mean, look how good coming out of LSU.
But isn't it weird? He had to transfer from Ohio State to LSU to be great. I mean, that's what it took. Apparently.
Well, I think he would have been great at Ohio State. He just wasn't going to get the opportunity. It didn't look like.
No, against who was the guy they had? Barrett.
Is that who it was at the time?
It seems like they were just loaded with quarterbacks there for a while.
And Burrow went to Ohio State, hometown, from Cincinnati area. So,
yeah.
But I think it all worked out for him to go to
did it ever?
LSU.
Had maybe the greatest season ever.
Yeah, I think it is the greatest season.
I can't argue it. I mean,
greatest team, maybe. Could you
for a year?
Might have the best offense I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in college
yeah,
football.
certainly the best offense.
A couple
We've
of them
seen.
receivers in NFL, aren't they?
Superstars. Yeah.
Chase and maybe
Justin
the
Jefferson.
two
Yeah.
of the best,
Jamar
two of the best
Chase.
receivers are in the NFL getting it done as well. Wow, that is pretty amazing. Mike, you didn't name Oklahoma. I was a little surprised, which I understand.
Well,
Yeah.
not now.
But I'm
I
glad
mean,
you didn't because
Yeah.
you did it like if you were the top quarterback,
Right.
And Texas wasn't even an afterthought, even though they're going to have a Manning
Yeah.
on the roster
That's
for
true.
a few. You know what I mean? I mean, he was the highest rated quarterback, right?
Yeah, Steve
Coming in.
Sarkisian.
And he's good too. He's good
Yeah,
for quarterbacks.
He's good for quarterbacks.
Their problem is will they be able to get enough stops to win some of those games?
That's right.
Players are different today than they used to be. So would you say the top quarterback in college football is more interested in getting some good coaching, being NFL ready, and maybe being drafted number 1 over a national championship?
Boy, that's a tough one.
And the thing
If
is,
you're looking out for number 1, I'd have to
but
say
guess
the
what
former.
though? That's the one thing that he has more control over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got to have a lot of other guys,
Mm-hmm.
carry their weight.
Yeah, because you need blocking.
Here's
And
Richard
receivers.
Howell just says, "I would go wherever Chase and Jefferson are playing." So that's
Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
that
right.
may have figured in.
Well, a team that's
Two-
always loaded
two-
with receivers is Ohio State. It seems like
They
they
are.
have 2 or
They
3
do.
drafted
They do.
every year.
They do.
And Alabama does too.
And most of them
Alabama's had
yeah,
some
both
great
those
ones.
schools really they're loaded at receiver, and it carries over because most of them have pretty good NFL
Yeah.
careers.
Jaden Davis,
as well.
the Providence State quarterback, he's listed as 6 foot, 185 pounds. So he's not a real big,
Wow.
not a real big quarterback.
We need to compare that with the new Panther.
Yeah, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
He's,
Hal just says I would go wherever Chase and Jefferson are playing. So is that Mike blaring over?
Not for long. Sorry.
NFL. Not for long, he says.
yeah,
Not
Bryce
for
Young.
long.
Bryce Young looks like he weighs about 170. But I'm sure he's bigger than that. But
Well, that's just because you put him beside people.
yeah,
Mhm.
other NFL players.
He doesn't look 205 to me or whatever they're touting.
Yeah, I would like to see the comparison to this guy. I don't know, just for looking at this guy on TV, though, he doesn't look thin. What'd you say the weight was again? 170?
185.
185? And the height's 5?
6 foot.
Okay. Yeah, well, if he's 6 foot, he's probably not.
So Bryce Young's listed at 5'10", 204.
Oh, he don't look 204, 5, does he?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he was taller than 5'10".
Yeah, I know. It would have to be all muscle.
Mhm.
I thought he was
if he's
more like
weighing. Of course, it probably is.
6'1" and
So at 5'10",
180.
how does he
But-
compare? Is that Drew Brees? Is he
Bruce, I think Brees was officially 5'9", wasn't
5'9"? Okay.
he? You know, his career wasn't too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I didn't realize Bryce Young was only 5'10".
Yeah.
Is that Kyler Murray? How tall is he?
He's 5'8".
Wow.
That's
You know,
pushing it.
He's pretty small.
At what
Yeah.
point
5'10", 207.
is he?
So
5'10"?
Right at
Or
the same
stretch it.
same size.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young says 5'10", 204. So
Mm-hmm.
very similar.
How about Russell Wilson? He's probably
About the
closer to
same.
About the same.
And I
He
think
might be a little thicker than those guys, but
Yeah.
he has
same
yeah.
same height.
He looks like
Right.
he's more like 210, maybe.
Makes me wonder, if you wanted to play GM, what would convince you to take? I mean, I guess just watching these guys play, and
Yeah.
especially if they survived in the SEC.
Yeah, Wilson says
Yeah.
5'11", 215.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 215.
Yeah, I thought
but he
he was-
probably didn't weigh 215 when he left Wisconsin.
No.
I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe not.
uh,
Maybe 195 or
and-
200.
and some of these guys you're naming, it's their, I don't know what current thing you're looking, how current it is, but they probably they may have put on some weight since they became NFL players with the
Yeah.
training and the diet and the things that they do to get these, would the fact that Tua is similar to that size as well.
Mhm.
Some
He
GMs, I
is.
think that would scare off. It didn't scare off the Panthers. They went straight out there
Straight
and got
out there and got him, yeah.
Bryce Young. But I do think that there are some that it would scare a little bit. Turn,
But it seemed like we've gotten away
dangerous.
from the cookie cutter 6'3", 6'4".
But the game's so different now.
Yeah, it is.
The game's so different. I mean,
The two is at 227.
Yeah, he's bulked up.
I'd like to see. We'd have to do it and go through all 32 teams, but what percentage of the teams have the dual threat quarterback versus the pocket passer?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm guessing it's around 50-50.
Yeah, we're getting more of those dual threats.
Well, to me, Josh Allen has the look,
Yeah.
the size, the body that I would want to draft at quarterback.
He has the look of a drop back passer,
but he can
he's
run.
a definite. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now,
6'5", 237.
when he comes at you, you might shy away a little bit if he comes at you with a full head of steam. Yeah, he is. You're right. He would be ideal these
and the
days.
6'5"
He's the
they
guy.
don't have to be that tall. I mean,
No.
6'2",
Yeah.
6'3" is fine.
6'3".
Which I think Mahomes is about 6'2".
Yep.
I wonder we talked about this before recently, who the most successful, tallest, who would fall into the tallest quarterback with the most success.
I don't
in the-
remember
in the
any
NFL.
QBs in that 6'7" range having
Nah.
much success in the NFL.
Yep. Some of them are tall and you don't even realize it. You
Yeah.
know how tall they really are. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would like to take a peek, just look at the heights, and I think we looked at something. Lenny or somebody sent us a message last week about the tallest quarterback ever to play. Can't remember exactly right now who it was.
What about
but
Trevor Lawrence? He's in that
but for the-
6'5" range, isn't he?
he's got to be.
He looks pretty tall.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got to be.
Yeah, maybe 6'6".
Yep.
But he has good mobility.
Yeah, as tall as
You
he
got
is.
Brock Osweiler, 6'7".
That's right, Brock Osweiler.
Not a lot of success there, but
Did he?
but he did make the NFL.
Where did he come out of? Was it LSU? I want to think that.
You got me there. It might be, but you
Yeah.
got me stumped. I mean, usually when I don't know them, it's west of the Mississippi
Yeah.
that I may not know.
Yeah, 'cause
with the
you never
exception
see
of
'em play.
Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah,
That's right.
but right. I mean, it's
He was Arizona State.
Arizona State.
west of the Mississippi.
There you go.
That's why I couldn't name it. So, I wonder what years he might have played for Herm.
Yeah, he could.
Nah, he was before that.
Before Herm, yeah.
Before Herm's, what's the Herm last out there? 3 or 4
Three
years.
4 years and some recruiting issues.
Is that what it was?
Started losing. Yeah.
One of my favorite people, though.
Yeah. He'll always have that great quote, and that's never going to go away. But he's back on the air.
Play to win the game,
And
right?
I've seen him on ESPN and other places.
Yep. Oh, Herm. Better known today as a coach, but back in the day, he was the miracle in the Meadowlands. He's the one that scooped up the Pacharczyk fumble with time running out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what led to the kneeling.
Yep.
On the final plays. I don't know why they didn't do it then, but that's what led to teams taking a knee.
That's what led to the victory knee.
Yeah. And so there wouldn't be any more of those mishaps on the final play of the game. What a ending! I think the Eagles have had a couple like that in their history against the New York Football Giants, to say the least. Herbert and Lawrence, Rodney says both are 6'6" and look good out of the gate, but they are not guys. They're not dual threats. And that's probably got to do with being 6'6". I don't look at them as dual threat. Can they scramble? Yeah, they can scramble. They're not going to be any design plays, though, for those two guys.
But they're more mobile than like a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't take a lot. We are, too.
And they're not like old school, just limited to one.
Yeah, you don't know old school. You
One
don't know.
space.
It used to be. You remember Jared Lorenzen?
Yeah.
NFL quarterbacks. That used to be the mold. Maybe
Yeah.
not quite as heavy, but
A
go
big-
back and look at
a
Sonny
big mold.
Jurgensen. Sonny Jurgensen. Who else, Mike? Back in the day, that I'm not accusing them of anything, but they carried a beer gut with them.
Yeah, Billy.
Might not have been from
also
beer.
for Washington.
Kilmer.
Billy
Yeah.
Kilmer.
Yeah,
Joe Platt. Cat. No, what was his name?
it wasn't Platt.
No.
He's a red-headed TV analyst.
Yeah, out of Minnesota. Joe Caps.
Rodney says Flacco was the tallest quarterback to win a Super Bowl at 6'6". Joe Flacco.
Okay, I believe that.
I watched him live and lose the national championship in
Oh yeah,
in
Delaware against that.
yeah, Division One A or whatever it was called back then. Yeah, he had left. Where was he before Pitt? I think he was at Pitt. Left Pitt and had gone to Delaware, and had led them to the national championship game. Is that who it was? Was it Delaware?
Yeah.
What are they? The Blue Hens.
Blue Hens.
Yeah, I'd forgot where Appalachian.
One of the best names in sports.
You think?
Blue Hens. No,
I was going to
really.
say
It's just unique. I put it that way.
The Blue Hose. I always like that one.
Presbyterian Blue Hose,
Yep.
now known as the Fighting Christian.
Yeah,
Right?
Lenny mentions
Oh, are they?
Billy Kilmer as
No,
well.
or is that Elon? I don't know.
Oh, he don't know. He threw something out there. There,
Elon's the Phoenix.
Elon's the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yep. There are.
Were they once the Fighting Christians?
I don't know. I thought there was somebody out there that is still the Fighting Christians, but I don't remember exactly. I don't, now Mike's got me wondering on something like that.
Presbyterian Blue Hose. They were that at one time.
I think they still.
I
are.
thought they still were too. I think you know, and it's. I'd like to know how they. You probably look it up and find the history and see where they got that name.
Yeah.
You know where. You know, I don't think it's because they wear blue hose when they go out and play, but you never know. I mean, they could call that back then. They could have called those long stockings that go all the way up. Could have called them. Put on your hose.
Elon used to be the Fighting Christians.
Okay.
Now they're the Phoenix.
Rising from the ashes.
Took Christianity right out of it.
Yeah, they totally secularized it.
Went to
secularized it.
Phoenix. I look at all these scores that we have to go over today, and you know what my favorite one is? 8-3.
8-3.
I bet Brett can guess real quick.
It must be the Red Sox.
Red Sox beat the Yankees last night by a score of 8-3. Neither
I saw
one
game
really setting the woods on
high
fire.
school game last night was 8-7.
Yes, it was, and you would expected. Who was that?
Wasn't that AC Reynolds and?
Yes, AC
Was it
Reynolds
West
lost
Forsyth?
to West Forsyth 8-7. Yeah,
8-7.
That makes me wonder. You know how late? I'm guessing that West Forsyth scored last. You know, and
you would think it was late.
It may have been overtime,
or maybe they just go for two all the time.
Might have been an overtime game. Might have been a thing where they took the lead in the fourth quarter. Not really sure about that. We're going to get into all those scores. I didn't see anything on the scoreboard. I glanced at it this morning when I got up, and I did not see anything that really stood out to me as a surprise.
On week one.
On week one.
Wouldn't.
One thing that I am very disappointed about, somebody scored 82, I think it was. Can't tell me that you don't have to try to score 82.
You do.
I mean, your fifth string player that doesn't even get to touch the ball, if you're up 60 to whatever, he can carry the ball to keep you from getting to 80. It's just, you know, and I think it was two public schools that were playing each other at that. Ned says Scottish history, kilts, etc. on the Presbyterian College name. So it comes from the Scottish, I guess the socks that they wear under the kilt.
Yep.
I'm guessing. What's the matter, Brett? You look puzzled there. I was going to say I've never had on a kilt. Yeah, never had on a Scottish kilt.
Well, neither have I.
Yeah, since I'm from Irish descent, I don't know. I guess they wear them too. Maybe I'm wrong, but not 100% sure. I got a question for you guys before we start getting into the scores and anything. How much preseason football have you watched? NFL.
I watched about 5 minutes of the Panthers when they played the Jets.
5 whole minutes?
Maybe 10. That's it.
I mean,
yeah, I've probably seen 20 minutes of action so far.
I don't know if I've.
Will you indulge at all?
The game I watched the most of, I was just flipping channels the other day, and it was one that was played 3 days earlier. And it was like, you know, do you care who wins?
No.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean a thing.
I don't think they care who wins either. I think the coaches want to see the team play well. The players, some of them are trying to earn a job, so they want to be able to get out on the field and do what it takes. I do think I think I'm not so sure when you put the starters on the field in preseason. NFL, I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the ones that are rookies, I'm not sure the rest of them put everything into it. And they may be told, don't put everything into it because we need you for the 17 games that matter. But some of those rookies, they do. They have to.
They have to.
And that's why it's
fighting for a job.
It's better when
And what are we to make of preseason performances? For instance, Trey Lance with the 49ers. Everybody's saying he's a big bust based on what we've seen so far.
And they're fortunate because they have Brock Purdy. Who they've already said.
And they also have, they have Sam Darnold.
They have Darnold. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So would you look for Lance to be traded away, given another chance with another place?
A noble failure.
But some people are going to look at this and say, if you can't make it with Shanahan,
well, that's what I was just thinking.
You can't make it with Kyle Shanahan. Who's going to groom you?
They might have missed their chance to get something out of him
before people knew.
Right.
Before people knew.
I mean, they could probably get a late draft pick, but that's about all they're going to get.
Could Sean Payton take a guy like that, get him in Denver, get him ready to be the heir apparent to Russell Wilson? Will Sean Payton even be there that long? I mean, I'm just thinking of people that we know that have had success, grooming quarterbacks that have some potential. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's just I'm asking the question. I don't know where he could go. What coaching staff he could go to. I don't know who has, some of these assistant positions change so much. It's like a revolving door. I don't know who right now is the king of the quarterbacks coaches. Every NFL team has a quarterback coach.
Mm-hmm.
Who could take somebody like Lance and make that work down the road and are they gonna? Somebody's got to take a chance on him. He had too good of a college career, right? Just
well,
how many years has he been in the league? Was this year 3 coming up?
I think so.
Where did he play?
It's too early.
Utah?
North Dakota State.
One of the Dakotas.
State,
North.
That's right.
Yeah, and he was at one of the Dakotas.
Same as Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. And not knocking that division of play.
Carson Wentz, success to this point or failure?
Very.
A little of both.
Very mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Early success when they went.
Oh, he won an MVP, didn't he?
I don't know. Did he win the MVP the year?
He was on his way to win it.
He almost led them to the Super Bowl. He did get him in position.
He
got the team in position.
Yep.
To get to the Super Bowl, but it was
just bounced.
What's his
Nick
name?
Foles.
Yeah, but since then he's just bounced around.
He has.
He was awful with Washington.
Yeah.
Who's
Washington's quarterback this year?
Sam Howell.
Oh, that's right.
Well, Rivera, the last thing I saw, he has yet to commit to that.
No, he announced the other day.
Did he?
Week 1 starter.
It was early in the week when I saw that he had yet to commit.
It was
Maybe he came out there the next day.
Is this it for Rivera? Hot seat? I don't know. There's been
new ownership.
New ownership. So many changes.
I mean, they could
unless they're just awful. I think he's got at least 2 more years.
He's well respected.
He gives them stability, which they haven't had.
Yep. And you know what? New ownership may help him. I mean, just to know that he's dealing with a group that really cares. Maybe about winning football and getting the tradition back that once was there.
Got a question here from Marco Arias on Facebook, David. Was Chaz hurt versus the Panthers? The Bucks need him. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know either. There again, that goes back to how little preseason football
Me too.
that I've watched. I did not watch a second of that game.
I don't think he was dressed out.
Was he not?
Oh, didn't dress out. That's why Marco's asking the question.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a picture of him on the sideline where he wasn't dressed out. Now, I don't know if maybe he got hurt during the game and changed out of his uniform or if he just didn't dress out at all. But I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, maybe somebody listening does know the answer to that. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to read you a couple messages real quick before we do take our first break. Ned says the internet says Elon was the Fighting Christians up till 2000. So when they became the Phoenix at that time.
Mm-hmm.
then he gets on to the kilt here. Each kilt has a different design for each family, kind of like, I'm guessing that's kind of like what they used to have for the big thing with the armor,
family armor,
something like whatever it's called there. But for each family, like a crest, the knee socks are part of
crest.
That individual identity. I thought he was talking about the Chargers over in Cleveland County when he said crest.
It doesn't look like Carson Wentz won an MVP. I think he was on pace to win MVP before that injury that year.
I lose my train of thought sometimes on what we were talking about, but Lenny says that Shirley Wilson went by the name Red Wilson.
Red Wilson, yeah.
I hope that was meant for me. What have I forgot?
Who'd you say, Shirley?
Shirley Wilson went by Red Wilson.
That's correct. He took Mike McGee's place.
Mike McGee, he coached the Duke. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. So maybe Brett mentioned that. Did you mention that name in?
I don't think so.
I don't remember him mentioning that name. I don't know where that came from. Hey.
John, I don't want to offend anybody here. It's never, it's the United States of the offend. I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but in Johnny Cash, one of his songs, it was, a boy named Sue, and I know some older men that were named Shirley. Would that bother you to go? Maybe that's why he went to Red. I don't know. But,
I know one from the community, Shirley Drum.
Yeah.
From Shirley.
Yeah. I mean, that was common back. He's probably 70 plus, right? Or 60 plus?
80 plus.
80 plus? Yeah, it used to be common, but it's not today. No. For whatever reason, it's not today. But,
well, that's right.
But I just wondered about that. We're going to take a first time out. I just read here that Falcons, Dijon Robinson made his debut last night, and it says dazzles the crowd on his first carry.
He did indeed.
Let's take a time out. Back with more in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincolnton. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
That's the sound of my soul reactivating when I finally get my frappe from McDonald's. Specifically, the McCafe Oreo Frappe. It's back in all its frosty Oreo goodness with rich mocha plus the crunch of Oreo cookies with whipped topping and more Oreo cookie crumbles. Or get another favorite drink like new refreshing lemonade or a Southern-style sweet tea lemonade. There are drinks, then there are drinks from McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group used under license.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Tim Johnson here from WLON. Folks, if you are looking to buy a new metal building, let me tell you the place to go. Unrivaled Metal Buildings in Lincolnton. With over 20 years' experience, they specialize in metal carports, garages, RV covers, storage sheds, and more. They service over 40 states. They offer bank financing and a credit-free rent-to-own program. All of their units are engineer certified to meet local wind and snow requirements. Commercial sizes are available as well. Address is 2541 East Main Street, Lincolnton, or call 844-848-8676. Also, check their website out at unrivalledmetalbuildings.com.
And welcome back. Hazy, hot, and humid. Your three favorite words, Mike Powell, that I'll start with.
If you say so.
Not today, though. It's just going to be hot.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be.
I can handle hazy.
I don't think it's going to be humid.
You what?
Humid.
I said I can handle hazy.
Yeah, the hazy doesn't bother me at all.
Hazy, lazy days of summer.
Hazy does not bother me at all. But that hot and that humid. That hot
always
and that humid,
hazy.
That's a different situation there. Is it not? Just looking at a couple different things here on my reminders that pop up usually tell me something if there's something I need to do during the show. That wasn't the case here. Jason says Chaz was listed as inactive for the Jets versus the Panthers. It appears along with several starters. Were made inactive for the game. If you saw episode 1 of Hard Knocks, which I did not, Chaz is one of the head coach Robert Saleh's favorite players. How about that?
Okay.
It looks like he has a good chance of making the 53-man roster. That's good. Number one, it's good to be talented and have a chance at doing that. Number two, it's great to be one of the coach's favorite players because, he might, that may be a case where maybe you're not as good as the guy he cuts, but he thinks you have more potential and don't want you to get away. And, I'm not saying that he's not as good as somebody that he might beat out, but just in case, that would happen.
Saw his parents last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
They were at the South Point Lincoln game last night. I have not seen them in quite a while.
Wearing the black and gold.
Where is Sage? Last we heard had a good season in USFL, right? So
yeah, and I haven't heard if he's
moved to a training camp
or
anything.
Yeah, I don't
practice squad with any NFL team, maybe.
Yep, I have not either.
And he was with New Orleans this past season. I guess that season's over. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's over.
Oh yeah,
it would have to be because
they were in the championship game, weren't they?
They want those players to have a shot at the NFL, so it would have to end.
The Royals last night, Major League Baseball beat the Cubs. Just in case you're wondering who the Royals are, they're no, I'm not gonna label them at all. 4-3. Some people pull for the Royals, and George Brett was one of my favorite guys. So I'm not gonna say anything negative about the Royals at all, even though they're 40-84 on the season. 4-3 winner last night over the Cubs. The Tigers beat the Guardians 4-2. You know what my favorite thing has been this year in Major League Baseball? It involves the Tigers, if you can imagine that. You know, if you've watched some games, this has happened several times. Miguel Cabrera is having a great send-off. Yep. A great send-off. Everywhere he goes, standing ovation in his final game.
The World Tour.
Yeah, that's classy. And
he got, was it this year he got his 3,000th hit?
It seemed like it did, like in the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier this year. I thought it might have even been last year. But
Yep. And that's something that, you know what, well-respected guy. Guy. I don't think he'd mind saying this. Seemed like he played his entire career overweight.
Yeah.
You know, but had a tremendous
267
career.
Not many Major League Baseball position players at 267. Yep. 6'4".
I thought you were talking about his batting average.
Well, it's probably close to that.
It might be higher than that because batting average used to matter.
255. No, that's not his career. That's just this year. Yeah, I'm sure he's higher than that career. He's probably close to 300.
I mean, did he win a batting title or two?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, it seemed like he did. And to do that and have the power that he's got, you just don't see that every day, you know?
Now he's tied for 11th on the all-time RBI list.
11th, yeah.
Mm-hmm. With Millot.
Okay, then we hardly ever have these, but is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
He should be.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
He's got to be. If he's not, who are you going to give it to? Who is going to be?
He's got 3,100 hits, 509 home runs. Yeah, there's no reason for him not to be first ballot.
Exactly. And while I don't watch we talked about this a couple weeks ago at the NFL Hall of Fame. I don't watch a lot of the ceremonies and the speeches, but I will try to watch his. He's always been one of my favorites. The Reds beat the Blue Jays last night 1-0. The Red Sox over the Yankees 8-3. Red Sox hanging in the wild card race. I know people want to count the Yankees out, but they're still only 4 games behind where Boston is. But they have slipped lately, 60 and 62. I got one question, and maybe the Yankee fans can answer this for me. Who does Aaron Boone know something on? I mean, this is not the Yankees of, this guy would have been fired months ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, but I'm glad he's still there because of the rant he had a week or two ago.
He gives you a show from time to time. He gives you a show from time to time. But who
still
does
he
knows something on somebody?
That walk-off home run he hit to beat the Red Sox.
Has that got him? That's carrying him over?
Yeah.
Evidently it is. I just do not understand how he is still, I think he's getting ejected some of these times because he wants to show management he's fighting for his team and, trying to save his job. It may be, and more power to him. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Like Brett said, hey, I'm kind of glad they've got a manager in there. Maybe they'll keep him again because he's below 500. Being a Red Sox fan, I want you to get the worst you can get for that position.
When's the last World Series for the Yankees?
2009, I think.
That's the last time they won it, and I don't think they've been. I mean, that's a long drought for that organization.
Yeah.
For that particular organization. As we go through the scores, a couple things. Rodney says Cabrera was the last Triple Crown winner. That's hard to do in baseball. Average RBIs and home
I thought
runs.
it was American Pharaoh. 307 career batting average.
Lenny says that Miggy's got to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what I say. If he's not, then who in the world would be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Who's the most recent?
Well, I know one that's going to be is Pujols.
Yeah,
retired after last year.
He's the most recent superstar. Yeah, he has to be. If for nothing else, where he stands on that home run list, all-time list. Where did he climb up to? Is he 4th?
He had over 600.
Yeah, not many have done that. I know Hank, Willie, Bonds. That may be it. Over 600.
Was A-Rod 599?
Seemed like he was. Seemed like somebody did come up one short of a milestone number.
I think it was A-Rod, and I think it was one short of 600.
Somebody should have signed him we'll sign you till you hit it. When you hit it, unless you're hitting.
Oh no, he was 696.
Yeah,
he was 4 short of. So there's 4 guys with over 700, and Pujols has 703.
Okay.
So and then
that's impressive.
Bond's 770. Who's next?
Bond 770.
It's 762.
Aaron.
Hank Aaron 755, and then Babe Ruth and Pujols.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 5 more guys that hit in the 600s. A-Rod, Willie Mays, Griffey, Jim Thome, Sammy Sosa.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny says, even more so, what does Brian Cashman have on the Yankees? He's been there for 25 years. And, he hasn't.
What has he done for me lately? No, not much.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go through the scores. I'm going to read some more comments because I got some more on here. The Phillies lose to the Nationals last night. Nationals 8-7 in that win. The Braves, how about this? Another shutout, Mike. This time your Giants the victim.
Oh, don't tell me it ain't so.
How many shutouts did the Braves throw this week? Didn't they shut out the Yankees twice?
Yeah.
How many
Their last 3 games have been shutouts.
Have they?
And 4 out of the last 7.
So even when they don't, this is a team that's probably scored the most runs.
5 out of the last 9.
Wow. 5 of the last 9 have been shutouts.
Yeah.
Games or wins?
Games.
5 of
they only lost one. They only lost one in that.
Because about the same thing then, right?
Yeah.
Games and wins.
They lost one to the Mets.
The Braves are the best team since. Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
They.
Well, I don't think you can say it.
79-42
yet.
Yeah.
Until they win it all.
Just at this point, yeah. Well, you might have a different opinion if they do.
Because there was one of those years I thought the Dodgers were the best team in a lot of years, but they didn't win the title. They got beat in the World Series.
Well, let's look at regular season. Are they the best regular season team since Seattle won 116, 18, whatever it was they won that year? Is this the best one we've seen?
It could be.
Will they come the closest to that? I don't think they're going to break it, but will they come the closest? And weren't the Yankees the closest? Maybe not. Maybe last year, just last year. But I hate to say it, but for the Yankee fans, but last year they were a great regular season team, just like Seattle was when the Yankees eliminated them back in, what year was that when they did that? Seattle won all those games but lost to the Yankees in the playoffs.
2001.
All right.
Won 116.
Yep. Let's continue on here. This has taken quite a while. Mentioned the Tigers and Miggy. The Brewers beat the Rangers. Did I do this one already? I guess not. The Guardians beat the Tigers. That must have been a doubleheader, right? Didn't I see? Yeah, that was game 2. Guardians beat the Tigers 4-1, so that's what threw me off. The Brewers and the Rangers. Brewers win 9-8. The Twins beat the Pirates 5-1. Seattle over the Astros last night. Seattle is a much improved team that nobody knows a whole lot about because they're on the West Coast, play most of their games at night. 12 games over 500. And
that put them in the wild card spot.
If you go into Houston and win a game, you're doing pretty good. The Mets, we talked about Houston a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so, saying just all they got to do is get in the playoffs. Well, now they're 17 games over 500 all of a sudden. The Mets beat the Cardinals 7-1 last night. The Rockies over the White Sox 14-1. Rays over the Angels 9-6. Orioles 75 wins on the season. They beat the A's 9-4. Padres over the D-backs 4-0, and the Marlins over Brett's Dodgers last night 11-3. I have never seen a team more Jekyll and Hyde than the Marlins.
Mm-hmm.
They look like world champions one night, and the next night they look like
they hit 5 home runs last night.
Did they really?
And the Dodgers have won 11 in a row before that.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the next 2 games, they
play 2 today.
Yeah, the Marlins might get blown out. I mean, that's just for whatever reason.
I hope you're right.
That's just been the way that it has been. Real quick, Baltimore still leads the American League East by 2 games over Tampa. It's pretty much a 2-team race down the stretch for the division championship. Twins lead the Central over Cleveland. The Twins are finally starting to have a little gap in between wins and losses. They're 5 games over the 500 mark right now, leading Cleveland by 5 games. The Texas Rangers, 72-50. What a division here. What a division. The Rangers lead Houston by 2.5, Seattle by 5. That's how close that is. Going to the National League, Braves 79-42, 13.5 games over the Phillies. The New York Stock Exchange Mets, with all that payroll that they have unloaded some of, 23 games out of first place at this point. Milwaukee leads the Central at 66-57, 2 games over the Reds, 3 games over the Cubs. Those 2 teams are still in the race, very much so. And in the West, the Dodgers have really put some distance between themselves and the Giants.
Don't tell me it ain't so.
74-47 are the Dodgers. That's just 5 games different from the Braves. And it wasn't expected, right, Brett? You expect them maybe win a division, but not with a record this good.
No, they've exceeded expectations for me.
Yep, I would think for a lot of people. They have, of course, they've won 9 out of 10. That's
now, I mean, I thought they would. Space. I thought they would compete for the division, but I thought it would be with San Diego.
Mike, your Giants, not your Dodgers, your Giants have lost 7 of their last 10.
Yeah,
triggering the gap there between the Dodgers and the Giants.
And their only hope now would be a wild card.
Yeah, maybe. That's 6 games that the Dodgers have gained, pulled away from the Giants, just in the last 10. Yeah. The Arizona Diamondbacks are in 3rd place, 13 out. Padres, I don't know if they're ever going to make a run. Padres are starting to make me think now there's no run left in the tank.
It seems like there's just too many teams between them and a playoff spot.
But you know what? It's all, though, Brett, about you got to win one at a time. That's all you can do is win one at a time. And they just you know.
They're still only 5 games back of the wild card spot.
Who's the manager?
I can picture.
I don't even know. I can't think.
I can't remember his name.
Colorado Rockies only won 47 games so far on the season. All right, a couple things to read here. Are you looking something up, Brett? You look like you're researching.
No, I'm just on the standings.
Okay.
Wild card standing.
Ned says Yankees GM, can't remember his name, Cashman. That is correct, Ned. Has been there maybe 25 years, and they haven't had much of a chance for over 10 years. Time for a change. I kind of agree with that as well. But I think you got to do. Honestly, I don't know. I would. So, people that are ready for Cashman to go, are you telling me the team doesn't have talent? That's my question. I mean, you got to blame one or the other.
Yeah, I don't think you put it on Cashman and Aaron Boone.
Yeah, right. But you know what?
Players haven't performed either, so.
No, they haven't. That comes down to manager.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they've got some big names on that team. They're paying big money, and they're expecting more out of them. So my first thought is manager, followed by GM if that don't fix the problem. They may do both. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Lenny says the Mets are paying both Scherzer and Verlander salaries with other teams. So, yeah, they're still paying the big money even though the guy has not done well. All right, what we got? Time to take a time out. We're going to come back. Rodney informed me college football does get started next Saturday. There will be a few games. He told us that last night as we were signing off.
Week 0.
Is that what it is?
Round 0.
Yeah, week 0. Decent matchups. We'll get into those and all of the high school football action from last night when we come back.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Darrell Hatchett Family Dentistry is not just a name, it's the way you're treated the minute you walk in. A full-service dental practice with over 20 years experience and lifelong resident of Catawba and Lincoln County. His commitment and caring run deep in the community. Located at the intersection of Highway 150 and Business 16 in Denver, he's convenient to where you are. Open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, so look no further for your dentist than Darrell Hatchett Family Dentistry. Call 704-489-9919 for your appointment or more information. Darrell Hatchett Family Dentistry.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flipped through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See the page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Hi folks, this is Will Poteet, President and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize for the long intro there. Sometimes you just got to fill up coffee, get rid of some, right? That's the way it is. Donuts, how about this? Dunkin' Donuts here in the studio this morning. Some good hot Dunkin' Donuts coffee as well.
The ultimate combination.
Just get you going, that's for sure.
Welcome, Marty Holbrook. He's watching.
Yep. Good
Milton
morning,
Sane.
Marty, Milton.
Yep.
Glad to have you with us, running through the baseball stuff. We've been talking a few of the headlines this morning and things like that. We've asked the question, and nobody really answered. How much preseason football have you watched? And I'm not talking college because you can't watch it.
No.
I'm not talking high school. You can, but I don't have that much interest in scrimmages and things like that as much either. But I have way more in that than I do NFL preseason.
Mm-hmm.
At least those high school guys have got their guys.
They got their main guys out there some of the time.
Yep. As far as the preseason things go, maybe not so much, especially NFL. It's just you think I would pay to go watch a preseason NFL game? No. Some people eat it up. They go anyway, but I'm not. Lenny said the Yankees have an aging roster of everyday players, Judge being one of the youngest at 31. Rico, Stanton, LeMahieu, and Donaldson being in their mid-30s. So, that I guess that could wear on them a little bit as well. Ned says Yankees don't have a team. They got a lot of high-paid guys, but they don't look like teammates having fun. They're not having fun when they're 2 games below 500.
No,
they're not having a bit of
not
fun.
having fun.
The Braves, on the other hand, now he's got a point here. When you watch the Braves, they look like they're having a big time while they're kicking your butt.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves, on the other hand, appear to like each other and look like they're having a blast together. No matter who is in the lineup each day, can't put value on that, if you ask me, and that is true. But now, I will say this. If the Braves record was the Yankees record, they probably wouldn't have quite as many smiles on their face. And
I wonder if Oakland looks like they're having fun.
Last night, I didn't, obviously on football, we didn't get to watch a bit of this game, but I heard that the Bronx fans were in rare form, is what I heard last night. They got the Red Sox in town. It was 7-0 in the second, and they're booing. They're booing like crazy, is what I was told.
Mm-hmm.
What would George do? That would be the question of the day as far as the Yankees. What would George Steinbrenner do? He'd probably be firing, if the record was like this, he'd probably be about to fire the 3rd manager of the season.
Oh, he'd switch them to wool uniform.
Some people will get that and some won't. That's great. I like it. Another Seinfeld reference coming in there. I am interested to see in preseason football in NFL, this because it's got this kid covered right here. This Dijon Robinson.
Bijan.
Yeah.
It's a B, isn't it?
It's a Bijan. Dijon's the mustard.
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Out of Texas.
Bijan, yeah. That's my bad. I was thinking about mustard on my hamburger.
Yeah.
But
I don't want Dijon mustard on a burger.
No, I want
maybe on a sub.
More sour, but
Mike Painter says real quick, I have watched one preseason game when the Jets played just to watch Chaz Surratt, and he had a few tackles and an interception in that game. So he had the interception the same night as Alec Burleson homered for the Cardinals. So you had 2 East Lincoln alumni making big-time plays there at about the same time.
Which team is that Bijan Robinson with?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was trying to find the box score.
Yeah, the Falcons took him with their first pick, wasn't it? Their first.
He was a high pick.
And running backs, he's going to be disappointed in 5 years when he don't get the contract he wants, because that seems to be the way. But this guy could be such a big weapon. I'm hearing like
Atlanta has drafted
LaDainian Tomlinson as a comparison.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've been drafting the skill position players here recently.
You kind of got to like where they're headed right
Kyle
now.
Pitts
with offensive-minded coach
the
Arthur
big tight
Smith.
end.
Yeah.
Drake London, the receiver out of Southern Cal.
They seem to be headed in an upward direction.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the quarterback.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to ask Joey. Joey sent me a message. I'm going to ask him. He sent me something. I'm going to say, is that the end of the game? Ned says, tell Brett, or he's addressing Brett here, I bet Oakland guys are at least happy they are getting a Major League Baseball salary, not a AAA salary or a AA salary. That might be the only thing they have to smile about.
Yep.
All year.
Yeah, but they're not making as much as those Yankees guys are.
No, they're not. The Yankees guys can afford groceries this day and time. I'm not sure the minor, the low level. There's such a disparity in payroll for doing the same thing, isn't there, in sports?
Yeah.
You got the same job as the other guy, yet he's a $300 million guy, and then you might have a $2 million guy playing right alongside. Isn't that, does anybody in Major League Baseball or any major sport at all make under $1 million a year? I haven't looked at salaries in so long, but does anybody make under $1 million?
Oh yeah, there's got to be.
Are there?
There's got to be guys on
in the NFL
on rosters.
And what is the minimum? What is the minimum yearly salary? If anybody knows that out there, send it to us. What's the for each sport? Is there a minimum that you have to pay? I'm guessing the NBA is the highest in all of these, right?
I don't know.
We said all you got to do is average 2 points a game, and you can get $5 million a year or more.
Yeah,
but it may be baseball. It's obviously not football. I wouldn't think.
The Mets payroll is 7 times Oakland's payroll.
7 times Oakland's payroll. And the records are similar?
Yeah, I mean, the Mets' record is a little better, but neither one of them are going anywhere.
Yeah, but the whole deal there is that's the difference in being in New York City.
Yeah.
As compared to most of the other cities. Chicago can do that. Los Angeles can do that. There's a few. San Francisco can probably do that.
Yeah, both Chicago teams are in the middle of the
That's
league.
Typical for Chicago sports.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Bulls, when's the last time they had a consistent good franchise? Maybe the Blackhawks, but it's not the Cubs, it's not the White Sox, and it's definitely not the Bears. They just don't have any consistency at all, and the Bulls was only because they had Jordan for a dozen years, and they were horrible before he got there, and they were horrible the day he left.
Several years ago, it looked like the Cubs were
on their way.
Yeah, going to become a consistent
I agree.
Winning team.
But have no idea what, I don't get it. I mean, it's sad because my guess are there are more Yankee fans in the United States than anything. The Cubs might be second. The Dodgers are probably second at this point. The Red Sox are probably thrown in there as well. But the Cubs still have one of the, there's Cubs fans throughout the whole country, especially in the central part. But I don't know. You just think that but it's always been the story that they're the lowly Cubs, I mean, that's always been part of it. It's like they didn't want them. The media didn't want them to be good. It might mess up a movie script like Boston did.
Mm-hmm.
Mess up a movie script.
Fever pitch.
Lenny says, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The minimum for an NFL player's salary is $750,000
for NFL.
But
so
that number,
$750,000 of a million.
But that number changes based on experience. The minimum for a rookie is $750,000. That increases to $870,000 for players with 1 year of experience, and $940,000 for players with 2 years experience.
So, and in a year or two, that 2 years experience will reach the $1 million plateau.
Yeah.
Very, very soon, I would guess, on that. Here's a comment from Lenny. That may be part of the Padres' problem. Too many high-paid individuals. And he's going back to what Ned said about the Yankees. Too many high-paid individuals playing as individuals and no team chemistry. You can't buy chemistry, and that is well said. Just trying to think real quick. I want to give you this.
The Padres are third in payroll, behind the Mets and Yankees.
Oh man, you know, you're talking about an owner that's hurting right now.
The Mets, Yankees, Padres are top 3, and none of them are looking like they're going to make the playoffs.
Real quick, college football begins next Saturday, August 26th, with 7 games. 7 games. Brett's Fighting Irish kick off the season against Navy. That's in Ireland, right?
Yes.
That's in Ireland.
Who's the most intriguing quarterback going into this season in college? I mean, as far as what's he going to do, interest level?
I would say Georgia. And I don't even know the name, but
right.
Because they lost Stetson Bennett.
Going to a back-to-back national champion, whoever it is.
Can they get just adequate play? Is that all they need to win a third one?
I got some guys that's going to love me for this. Drake May.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I mean, is he going to live up to the billing? Is he going to be?
Heisman watch.
Yeah. A possible first-round pick. Hey, I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the guy.
I'll tell you one. Sam Hartman went from Wake to Notre Dame. Now, Brett should have an interest in this.
Yep, I thought he was pretty good.
But there was a different offense at Wake. They run this offense where most of the passes are just short. I mean, it's kind of like.
Ned says minimum MLB $550,000, and NBA $582,000. He said on a site on the internet that he read that. So I'm passing it along. Other quarterbacks, Mike, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Sam Hartman, Notre Dame. Since he's going from Wake.
Okay, it should be a simple answer. When does Arch play? Whenever Arch Manning plays, people are going to watch.
Going to watch. Yeah. Well,
he's going to be the story when he plays, and I don't know is that still a year away?
I think so. Is it, unless there's an injury or just.
So he is at Texas now.
Yes, he is at Texas now, but he's not the starter.
Right. No, that's
Ewers.
Quinn Ewers.
The Manning family is quarterback royalty. So whenever they when he plays, people are going to watch. Some people may hope he fails. I mean, I don't. I hope he's very successful. But some people may.
I would think you have to.
He fails.
You have to have something against Texas to hope. Yeah. Because I mean, who's got anything against the
Mike hopes he
Manning
fails.
family?
Mike's an Oklahoma guy. He hopes.
Yeah, I hope he fails miserably.
Or wins every game but the one. You can go. You know, has terrific numbers in every game.
Well, after losing to Texas 49-0 last year.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Terrific. It was a nightmare. Yeah. Ooh. Nightmare at the Texas State Fair.
Aviva Stadium in Dublin next week hosts Notre Dame and Navy. That game will be at 2:30 p.m., so that'll be like a night game there. Maybe, 8:30 at night, 7:30 at night, something like that.
I think it's about 5 hours difference.
6 hours.
UTEP will be at Jacksonville State. UMass will be at New Mexico State. Ohio, the Bobcats of Ohio travel to San Diego State. Hawaii is at Vanderbilt. What a bad couple of weeks in Hawaii,
boy.
In the Maui area. I feel so bad for those people. That's been brutal to hear some of the stories. I don't know if you've heard them or not. I'm not going to go over them. I promise you. They're too sad to talk about. Some of those things. San Jose State goes to Southern Cal. Upset pick. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Florida International at Louisiana Tech. Then the following Thursday. Is a really good intro into the following weekend. Elon and Wake Forest, Kent State, Central Florida, Rhode Island, Georgia State, St. Francis of Pennsylvania at Western Michigan, NC State and UConn. Yes, I'll pay attention to that. But on Thursday, I'll really pay attention to this one. Florida and Utah.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Florida and Utah, 8 o'clock on ESPN on Thursday.
Yeah, Florida won the Pac-12.
Nebraska under new coach Matt Rule.
Right.
Making his debut. Nebraska will play at Minnesota, 8 o'clock on Fox on Thursday night. South Dakota at Missouri, Mike's favorite coach.
who apparently just landed one of the top recruit in the country for 24. A defensive end, I think his name is.
His name.
I think that's his position.
Wonder what position he plays. It's
yeah, but I just saw.
He's a kicker.
That's great. I like it. Man, anxious
Class
to see.
Of 25, I think.
Anxious to see Mike's favorite coach, who's getting it done at Missouri. Mm-hmm. Hard place to win, man. Hard place to win. Yeah. It just really is. Let's see. We got Tulsa at home. Butcher like this
That's
one. Kevin debut. Wilson. Yeah, Kevin Wilson's debut, former Maiden High athlete.
And they got OU coming in this year, too. Tulsa
They do. Arkansas Pine Bluff is the opener for Tulsa next week.
An August game in Tulsa be hot?
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
You think? Bring it on, right? North Carolina A&T visits UAB next Thursday night, and Southern Utah at Arizona State. A rundown of the college football. We're not going to get into next Saturday's games because we'll be able to talk about those a little bit next week. High school football kicked off last night. What was the crowd like where you were, Brett Keever? Because Mike and I were at the same place, and I can tell you it was a packed house at West Lincoln.
Well, South Point filled up their side.
No matter where they go.
For Lincoln, it's just about like what it was last year. Not an overflow crowd for sure, but a decent crowd.
I got another message here real quick. Scott Childers says, enough about the Yankees. They are done. Talk about my Reds. This probably isn't the year, but they're going to be contenders in a few years if management doesn't trade everybody away. And I agree, as long as they can afford them. They got a lot of young talent on that team. De La Cruz is one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite players to watch now because of the chaos he creates when he gets on base. But you're right. The Reds.
They are in a wild card spot.
They're in a wild card spot, but I don't think they're good enough to make a run right now with the youth they've got. Maybe need to add a piece here or there, but they should be. They should be in contention moving forward. That's for sure. Let's see. What in the world have I got here? I pulled up high school football scores, and guess what I got? I see what I did now. I hit Friday, August 25th.
Well, that would do it.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Friday, August 18th. That sounds much better. We're going to get rolling through these scores right now. Greensboro Dudley picking up where they left off in recent years. Well, I shouldn't say picking up where they left off because didn't South Point score 77? Didn't you tell me that, Brett?
74, I think, last year.
After losing to Dudley the year before in the playoffs 2 years ago by a score of 36-0.
30-something to nothing.
Yeah. Last year, South Point plays Dudley and put 70-some on the board and winning that game. Dudley last night beats Greensboro Page 40-7. 40-7 in that game. Burlington Williams over Northwest Guilford 39-34. Let's see. I want to do as many Western games as I can, unless it's a big game in the East, like Raleigh Broughton beating Cary 16-14. Not big for us, maybe, but big for some of those folks down that way. Porter Ridge beat Rocky River 46-0. Olympic over West Meck 42-0. Parkland over that's Winston-Salem, right? Parkland.
Yeah.
Over Lexington last night, 16-13. Big shout out to Lexington Barbecue. Some of you guys saw the pictures where we went last Saturday.
I've been to ask you, how was it?
Awesome. We'll go today.
Yeah, about that. And I can go for eating barbecue for the third time this week.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right. Not going today. We just had it last night. That's for sure. Inca defeated Owen last night, 37-14. Ardrey Kell over Providence, 13-10. Don't get that confused with Providence Day, who plays tonight at the Panther Stadium. Greensboro Grimsley over Mount Tabor, 30-7. Mount Tabor's usually pretty good. You know, Grimsley, did they play in the state title game last year?
Yeah, I think they won it.
Yeah.
Did they? My memory, not like it used to be, but it seems like it was Grimsley. Somebody different for a change in that 4A title game from the West.
Oh, no, they lost. They lost in the title game.
Lost
to Newbern.
Lake Norman defeated North Mex 7-6. You might need to find those 4 title game scores so we can just mention those and it kind of bring it back to us.
I'm sure my granddaughter's happy.
We know East Lincoln, the defending 3A champs.
Yeah, East Lincoln and
with the Lake Norman win.
Yeah, well, she goes to
have the longest win streaks in the state right
East
now.
Lincoln and New Bern.
Yeah,
both 17
games.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Southwest Edgecombe 47, North Edgecombe nothing. Lake Norman Charter over South Lake last night 41-8. It was Hertford County over Gates County 62-12. Northeastern, how about this one? 83 points. Northeastern has 47 of them. Bertie County has 46. A 1-point game. That would have been fun to watch.
Yep.
Hickory Grove over Wake Christian 49-14. South Granville falls to Green Level 18-0. Chapel Hill over Cedar Ridge 49-0. North Duplin over Southside 20-18. Cleveland over Wilmington Hoggard 28-20. Here's the game I was talking about earlier. Pender County over Lejeune 88-34 in that game. Community School of Davidson beat the Hickory Hawks 40-7. Looking for Western scores here. Reagan beat Marvin Ridge. Excuse me, I got that backwards. Marvin Ridge, the winner at home over Reagan 42-27. If you watched the brief Football Friday night on Channel 3, you might have saw highlights of Westrow and A.L. Brown. A.L. Brown wins that game last night 38-27. Under first-year head coach, it's one of the Hardin boys that Bruce used to coach. His dad used to be the head coach at A.L. Brown. Mike, what's his name, took over for a while.
Newsom.
Mike Newsom took over, left Butler to take over. And retired this past season, and now the other Hardin, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I saw him last night, but I can't remember his
somebody
name.
Will help me with that. Bruce, he's got 2 boys, and I think they're both into coaching. But one of them has taken over the A.L. Brown, storied A.L. Brown program. Good football at A.L. Brown for many, many years in the past. Tarboro 42-0 over Rocky Mount. That's a pretty good win. That's a
Is that a 3A?
Yeah, I think so, and usually a pretty good 3A team.
Yeah.
Looks like that one was on the road.
And Tarboro coming off of a loss in the state championship to Mount Airy.
And we're going to get all those scores in this way because you're getting ready to give me another one here because East Duplin last night continued their winning ways. They come off a state championship with a 37-7 win over Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
And last year
they beat Reedsville in the state championship. I don't remember the score.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, it was.
Fun game.
Yeah. It was close.
I could see Reedsville fans saying they didn't get a couple calls, had a couple calls, did not go their way that could have went their way. Mm-hmm. And you guys were with me there. And didn't it feel good to be cold that day? Mm-hmm. Brett probably says no. But that was a really good game. And you would have never thought that a team as one-dimensional as East Duplin could beat Reedsville. Yeah. Because they just ran it.
They just
ran
it,
and were successful at it.
Wing T or some version of
24-21.
24-21. And I think Reedsville scored last, didn't they, to make it?
Yeah.
It's not like it was back and forth. I think East Duplin was up and Reedsville scored to make it that close. And had opportunities to score again, but maybe a missed pass interference there, or maybe it was a phantom pass interference. It was a pass interference called against Reedsville that a lot of people in the stadium thought maybe shouldn't have been called. Ain't that the way it was? You guys remember it that way?
I just remember the kickoff return or punt return by
I remember walking into the heated bathrooms at Keenan Stadium just to get warm.
Yeah.
That's been a while, right? We did do that a few times, right?
Yeah.
Because those bathrooms, you can be out in that breeze and that cold air, and I want to say temperature was probably under 50, and if you're sitting still, just sitting there and the breeze blowing, that's pretty chilly. It may have been even under 40. But you walk in the bathrooms at Keenan, I'm not sure about the other ACC schools, but it feels like it does outside here on an August day. It was pretty warm in there. South Central beat Kinston 40-26. Sun Valley over Central Cabarrus 49-14. Oh my goodness! I just got a message that shocks me here. Let's see. Terry Sanford High over Topsville 41-20. East Mac falls to Berry Academy 32-24. Southeast Guilford 55. Southern Guilford 6. Give me some West scores. Central Davidson falls to Monroe. Monroe ranked 25th overall in the state of North Carolina. 56-0 last night. Monroe off to a typical Monroe start in that contest. Mountain Island Charter over the Cabarrus Stallions, 40-0. Here's the one Brett was talking about earlier. West Forsyth over AC Reynolds by a score of 8-7. I still bet that was, if not overtime, that had to be a fourth quarter score. Whenever you would think, whenever they took the lead there for the first time. I'm guessing, though. I look at it this way. AC Reynolds wouldn't have kicked the extra point if they were down 8-0. Yeah. At least not in the second half. Cuthbertson 24, Parkwood 0. I got to get into some here soon that are it looks like, I don't know how these things are formulated, what pattern they take. But we haven't even called out a game in our immediate area yet. But they are coming. Mike's team, the Clinton Dark Horses, they beat Jacksonville Northside 40-7 last night. I think they went deep in the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken.
East Duplin knocked them out.
Is that right? Yeah. Northwest Cabarrus, we saw them last week. They shut out East Lincoln in a scrimmage last week. Last night they shut out West Cabarrus 21-0 in that Northwest Cabarrus win to start the season. RS Central with a win over McDowell, 31-24. Whiteville over Bunn, 57-14. Northern Nash, state runner-up last year, the team that East Lincoln beat. Northern Nash beats Wilson Hunt, 48-13 last night in high school football action. Mooresville Downs Davie County, 31-24. It was, oh wow. We thought this would be the game of the night, and I think it was. Eastern part of the state, Havelock 28, Wallace Rose Hill 27. Two perennial powers there going at it and playing to a 1-point game. East Forsyth, speaking of perennial powers, ranked 4th overall in North Carolina, 49-7 over Heritage. Wake Forest Roseville over Butler. Another great matchup for 4As here. 21-19. Roseville wins over Butler High School. New coach making his debut. It escapes my name, but he's been on WBTV a couple times this week at Charlotte Catholic. 34 years old, taking over a historic Charlotte Catholic program. He passed the grade on opening night. They beat South Meck 49-16 last night. Princeton, we've seen them in a state championship game before. They beat South Johnston 36-28. R.J. Reynolds over High Point Central 41-12. Let's see. Give me some West here. Looking for it.
It's Matthew Riley. Is that coach at Charlotte Catholic?
Matthew Riley. Hayesville beat Towns County 35-2 last night. We talked about that TC, the Twin Cities logo for Towns County. Here's one that folks in the Catawba Valley 2A should be aware of. This is a wild card in this conference. East Burke beat Patton last night, 47-0. And some of the people I've talked to, especially a couple of ADs, said East Burke could be pretty good. So you better watch out for East Burke when they roll into your place or you go to their place. In CVAC.
Well, I think another one had an impressive win. That was Bandy's.
They did
last night.
Yeah, they did. I'm sure we're going to get to that one here in just a second as well. If you wonder how East Lincoln would do coming off their state championship, 16-0, they outscore Stuart Kramer last night, 57-0 in that win. Next week, East Lincoln goes to Forest View. No, I didn't expect 57-0.
The 0 didn't surprise me, but the 57 did.
I just expected a little closer game.
So how good is Northwest Cabarrus defense? That's the question I have after they did not allow East Lincoln to score last week.
Very good
In a scrimmage. It would pretty much have to be, wouldn't it? Ned says real quick, Bruce Harden, also former West Charlotte coach and athletic director, is a very nice man. It is, Bruce. I'm going to get into Lenny's baseball comment before we take our next time out. I want to try and get through these scores. East Henderson falls to North Buncombe 47-36. Watauga beat TC Roberson 13-12. Bunker Hill, another one to watch out in the CVAC, 42-8 over Freedom last night. I was told last night as I was leaving the stadium, Bunker Hill returned 20 of their 22.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
20 of the 22 starters. Wow. And they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
South Point defeats Lincoln last night 35-21. Alexander Central over Statesville 13-6. Crest gets a big win, and a big win for the state of North Carolina. Crest defeats Gaffney 44-38. East Rutherford over Bessemer City 28-12. Hunter Huss. I heard they looked really good in 7-on-7s. This may be a team. Didn't Drone have a really good season last year? Go deep in the playoffs.
They went to the
Got their quarterback
final.
back.
Yeah.
Hunter Huss beats them 37-21. Could be a good
and I thought I saw that
Hunter
game
Huss.
at one time. Drone was up by a lot.
Really?
But maybe that score was just wrong.
Well, they could have been up 21-0, but I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Wheatmore defeated West Davidson 33-7. Forest Hills over Ashbrook 55-12. East Gaston over North Gaston 29-14.
Forest Hills is a team to watch in 2A this year.
Yep, what was the longtime coach? John Lowry? Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John Lowry has been gone a while. I wonder who's
they went a few rounds in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
they? Forest Hills did.
Yeah. Used to be a really good
Shelby
team.
might have
Used to be a
knocked
good
them out.
program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. They might have been undefeated when they played.
Well, I think they
Shelby.
lost to Monroe.
Okay.
Maybe the last game of the year.
All right. I think you're right. And didn't win the conference. North Wilkes falls to Elkin 28-8. West Wilkes falls to East Wilkes. East Wilkes wins 28-21. South Iredale 35, North Iredale nothing. The game Mike and I saw, West Lincoln 21, North Lincoln 20. Yes, we're going to get to that one in a few minutes. I want to get through the scores here. Burlington Cummings, are they on their way back to a solid program? 28-0 last night over Moorhead. Thomas Jefferson follows. This one blew me out.
Me too.
You know, because West Iredale the last couple of years has not been great. No. 50-0 last night. West Iredale over Thomas Jefferson. Which team does we don't know. This is just which team does this say the most about? Really don't know.
What tells me that Thomas Jefferson
really
is not getting athletes from the rest of that county right now.
May not be. And that would be Rutherford.
Well,
County
didn't they make a coaching change here 3 or 4 years ago? A guy named Jerry Cash, I think it was.
I think he started the program.
Did a good job up there. Had them competitive.
Can't remember who it went to.
I don't know what's happened since.
Let's see what they did last year.
I know there was a couple local guys that drove up there every day. I won't mention their name, but they drove up every day. They were assistant coaches. They were driving 45 minutes each way to be assistant coaches. But they didn't go back this year. They had done it a couple years and they retired for the second time.
They were 2-9 last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
7-4 the year before that.
Right.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
7-4. Yeah, and that's when they had the good quarterback, isn't it? They had a really good quarterback at one time.
And the 6-1,
really
the
plays.
COVID year. Yeah, they had some good seasons.
Yeah,
12-2 the year before that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
My stunner of the night might be this one, not by who won, but by margin. Robbinsville 40, East Surrey 6. East Surrey's been really good.
Yeah, they don't take many beatings like that.
No, they don't. And I know Robbinsville's a 1A powerhouse, but man, to beat them 40-6, and maybe that's at home field advantage that they've got over there in Robbinsville. I do not know. Swain County 34, Country Day nothing. Kings Mountain, Battle of Buffalo Creek, Mike Powell. Kings Mountain doubles up Shelby 34-17. Tripper Crisson sent me a message earlier this morning before we went on the air. I guess he must have went to that game last night, probably with the crew. And you guys that know, who the crew is there. I don't have to call them by name, but Tripper had told me, in his words, that Kings Mountain defensive line is strong. This defensive line is very special on this Kings Mountain team. Under new head coach, I can't remember the name of the new head coach.
Straight Heron.
Say it again.
Straight Heron.
Straight Heron. I should remember that name.
Yeah.
That's a unique name.
It is.
I like it. Straight Heron. It's not even
Straight Flush.
Is that a drink?
Yeah. So it sounds like, doesn't it? He's rolling it.
Straight Heron. They bring you a drink with a tropical bird in it.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it. I love the name. Where did he come from?
South Point, Rock Hill, wasn't it?
South Point, Rock Hill.
Is that right?
I believe so.
Assistant moving to Kings Mountain or a head coach?
I think he's the head coach.
Moving. Wow. Yep. high expectations for the Mountaineers this year. So
yeah.
And
you remember they were 13-0 last year when they ran into East Lincoln.
And help me, I'm pulling for them because if I'm not mistaken, they're the only Cleveland County school yet to win a state title.
Yeah,
they are right. So, yep, a good win last night for them over Shelby, and to get the season started. Had a lot of highlights of them on the not ESPN on football Friday night last night.
Yep.
What's going on in Richmond County, man? What's going on in Richmond County? 71st rolls into Richmond last night, beats them 41-13. They did not have a good season last year, if I recall. They struggled a little bit last year, maybe even the year before. Not 100. Oh my gosh, Lenny says straight herring, Herrion is the way he has it spelled here. One of his first name's George. And, I doubt it.
George Straight Herring.
5 state titles at South Point. 5 state titles while coaching at South Point. They went after a guy, didn't they? That's the way it appears to me. It appears to me like they went after a guy and they got him. They got the man, maybe. I'm going to tell you something in a minute. I don't know if we got to it. I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not. But the guy that resigned and left Kings Mountain also got a big win last night.
You're talking about Greg Floyd.
Yes, he got a win last night
Greg
too.
Lloyd,
yeah.
19-12 Avery County over Cherryville last night. Western Alamance falls to Reedsville, 36-28. This game was tied at 28.
I read something on this game. Quayshawn Flippin and Deontay Neal both out last night.
You're kidding.
I don't know if they were both injured or what, but they were.
Now Flippin's not the big guy.
No, two receivers slash defensive backs.
6'7", 6'8" guy. His name, he's defensive line and tight end. I can't remember, but I do remember Flippin and Neal.
They're two speedsters. They're both receivers and both corners.
Yeah,
they were both out.
Well, that explains a lot because the way I looked at Reedsville, they had a really good. Just about watching them last year, I don't think they were very deep. You know, it seemed like they had really good starters, but as far as depth goes, it just didn't look like it was there. But they get those guys back. Neal's the guy. He's the freshman that scored 35 last year in the basketball championship game. Now they lost to.
And he led the state in interceptions last year.
Led the state in interceptions as a 9th grader. Pisgah beat Brevard 24-10. I bet there were some fans at that game. North Stokes over Chatham Central.
Oh yeah, I read that was
22-20.
Was it Pisgah's first home game in 3 years?
Because of the flood.
Yeah.
Wow, has it been that long?
I think so.
I mean, golly, that's a fast 3 years. Bandies beat St. Stephen's 35-0. Mount Airy over North Surrey 58-0. Burns shuts out Forest View 42-0. Mount Pleasant beats Carson 26-16. Maiden all over Fred T. Ford last night, picking up where they left off 48-6 last night for the Maiden Blue Devils. South Caldwell over West Caldwell 52-0. I didn't think that would be that. I thought West Caldwell might be in the game there for a little bit, but unfortunately for them, they're not. 52-0 South Caldwell in that. West Henderson rolls into Newton last night, puts up big numbers, defeats the Red Devils 54-22. Ashboro over Albemarle 24-22. I think we already said Kings Mountain Shelby. That one might be on here twice, but just in case, Kings Mountain won 34-17.
Kings Mountain at Burns in 2 weeks. That's a game I'd like to see.
Yeah. Just about all the Cleveland County matchups should be pretty
The Kings
good.
Mountain Crest game to end the year should be it.
How about South Point Crest down the road? You know, I mean, think about that. That's what I talked about last night to Mike.
I don't know if South Point's on the level of Kings Mountain and Crest.
We'll find out
this year.
But you know what? They may not be talent-wise, but they always find a way.
Man,
they have got their system. They're telling you. They send you a letter each week before you play them, telling you what we're going to do, and you got to stop it. Right? You got to stop it.
South Point plays next,
and they run clock when they have the ball.
Charlotte Christian.
Do they? That's an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Greenville Hurricanes 44-8 over Highland Tech. Smoky Mountain beat Cherokee 34-13. Polk County over Madison 33-7, and Ledford over Kernersville Glen 24-8. Asheville beats Tuscola 25-22. Eastern Randolph falls last night. Eastern Alamance, they've been pretty good too as of late. 35-13 over Eastern Randolph. North Henderson rolls over Hendersonville. Mike, we saw them last year. We saw Hendersonville beat West Lincoln in a high-scoring game. I'm trying to learn not to say shootout.
I think that's a surprise.
Yeah. North Henderson winning 31-12. And in our final score here on the no, I did. I got another row. Mitchell County beats Charlotte Latin 16-7. How about Mitchell County coming all the way down off the mountain to play Charlotte Latin last night? Yeah. Wake Forest high perennial power falls to Clayton in a high-scoring game, 54-42 last night. Ashe County over Wilkes Central, 33-0. And let's definitely not leave this one out. Our buddy Joe Glass, he wins last night over High Brighton, 35-14 over the Panthers of High Brighton.
Really challenge East Lincoln for supremacy.
I think Hickory's a favorite in the conference at this point. Yeah, going in this year.
We don't know what Statesville has. They did win their opener, didn't they?
No.
They lost Alexander Central.
Yep.
Okay.
Scored 6 points.
But
it was only like 13-6 or 7. Maybe it was 7. I don't know. Salisbury beat North Davidson 42-0. North Davidson usually a pretty good team, too. That score surprised me. The Salisbury won so easily. I don't know if I said this one. I'll say it again. Randleman over Thomasville, 20-7. Triton, Mike, I showed you where Triton High School was on our trip to Campbell. Between Campbell University and the town of Dunn is Triton High. 41-12 over Union Pines. Murphy over Franklin, 41-14. Chase in a nail-biter over Mountain Heritage, 27-24. And here you go.
It's a good matchup.
Coach Lloyd gets his first win at Star Mountain in his first game, 43-30 over Trinity last night. And while he was outmanned, Daniel Boone held Irwin to 7 points last night. But they lost 7-0 because
it was a one-on-one. Clyde Irwin.
Yeah, Clyde Irwin and Daniel Boone. I would take Daniel Boone. And I haven't even seen Clyde Irwin in that. But and here's one that blew my mind. With all the conference changes there's been in the NCAA and people moving around here to there and everywhere, Baylor played its first game last night in the NCHSAA, and they fell to Rabun Gap, and that's either got to be Georgia or Tennessee. I think there's one in both states.
Rabun Gap.
And Baylor lost 35-24. It's a Baylor with a red logo, though. So I don't
not
think
the Baylor Bears.
The Red Bears.
It may not. Yeah, the Baylor Red Bears. We got to take a time out. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back to recap a couple of the football games from last night in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
The selection of brand new Can-Ams has never been better than right now at Al Lane Motorsports in Lincoln. They have just received a big new shipment of Can-Ams, also kids, ATV, and dirt bikes, in stock and ready to roll. And don't forget about the huge selection of Toro mowers, zero turns, and even push mowers. From your front yard to the back roads, see Al Lane Motorsports, located at 3636 East Highway 27 in Lincoln. Online at allanemotorsports.com. Like them on Facebook, too. And they have golf carts.
Trusted, tried and true. Those three words represent the highest standards for Kawasaki Mule Side X sides. Trusted means being built strong and built to last. Tried means being put to test by hardworking people doing the toughest jobs. True means staying authentic to the roots that run 30 years deep. Kawasaki Mule, the definition of trusted, tried and true. See the Kawasaki Mule at Full Throttle Power Sports, 101 Indian Walk in Lowell.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Triad Corrugated Metal in Lincoln is this area's headquarters for premium metal roofing and supplies. And now just arrived, square tubing for metal carports and metal buildings. Give them a call at 980-429-2278 for pricing and sizes. And they have a wide variety of colors. Visit the website at triadcorrugatedmetal.com. And like them on Facebook too, Triad Corrugated Metal, 108 Industrial Park Road in Lincoln.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. Couple comments I want to share real quick. Lenny says our buddy Cal Raleigh hit his 50th home run this week. Now that's in his career, not his 50th for this season. Where is he in the season? Like 22, 23 maybe for Cal Raleigh? Smoky Mountain High graduate, product of Florida State baseball. The second quickest American to reach that number, only A-Rod reached it quicker in 269 games. So does that mean he got there quicker than Griffey?
Apparently.
Didn't Griffey start his career there?
Yeah.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, he has 22 this year.
Yep, 22.
In 107 games.
He says only A-Rod reached it quicker in 269 games. That record may be broken this weekend by Julio Rodriguez, who has 49 in 251 games. That's impressive as well. Lenny comments on John Lowry, the former Forest Hills coach, was before Algie Faircloth, and that's a name well known throughout the entire state in the coaching circle. Lenny also says that Straight Heron down there won 5 straight state titles at South Point. That's impressive. And that the coach we're trying to think of at Thomas Jefferson was there for 1 year. And it's the legendary Barry Shuford, who's coached a lot of different places in North Carolina. My most recent remember him was at East Meck. Over the past few years.
Where else did he coach prior to that?
That's why I really can't remember, but he has been several different places. I know Coach Scott Cloninger could probably tell us where Shuford had coached throughout his tenure. But let's see. I've already read you what Ned said a couple times there about different people. Brad, I'll start with you. You saw Lincoln to South Point last night. South Point picks up right where they leave off. Quarterback is dynamite, from what I hear. Blee. What's his first name?
Yeah, Patrick Blee.
Patrick Blee. Had a big night against the Wolves.
Yeah, he did. He scored all 3 of South Point's first half touchdowns, a couple on pretty long runs. I would guess he finished a little over 200 yards for the game. And then their fullback, Ford, I think it's Chance Ford, he did most of the work in the second half. He scored their 2 second-half touchdowns. Lincoln had problems with high snaps going over the quarterback's head just about all night.
When you told me how many, I was surprised the score wasn't worse. That, maybe double digits in bad snaps.
Well, Andre Bost, he did a good job of running back and scooping a lot of those loose balls up and making at least getting it back to not losing yards on several of those. Right. There were a couple where he just had to fall on the ball and lost about 15 yards, but I just thought Lincoln looked a little sluggish. That definitely wasn't a clean game. They struggled tackling South Point's quarterback just about all night.
I think a lot of people are going to struggle with that, from what I hear. But yeah, you got to.
This is the same young man who started against East Lincoln last year in the Western Regional Final.
Yeah,
as a freshman.
Which is
I think their starter last year went down during the Lincoln game, and Blee took over, and he's been the starter ever since. And he's committed to Wake Forest for baseball.
Right, that's a good baseball program. So
he's a really good athlete.
Yep.
And he's solid. He can run, but he's
thick.
Yeah, he's hard to bring down too. He's really good. Of course, they lost a couple big offensive linemen from last year. They don't look quite as big as usual, but they still, they probably have 75 players dressed out. It's tough for Lincoln to compete with somebody like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure they platoon for the most part.
Yeah.
Monty says unofficially, I'll give you that right there, that South Point's quarterback had around 244 yards on the ground last night. 244.
Yeah, by that.
In that opening.
And he had half of that on his first 3 carries.
Yep. Half of that on the first 3 carries,
First 3 carries, he had 120-something and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start to the season for that young man.
It looked like Lincoln was keyed in on the fullback, and they were hitting him, and the quarterback was doing the damage early in the game.
We know East Lincoln won their game last night, 57-0.
Did anybody have any details?
Nothing on that one. That's why I'm going straight on to you, Mike, and we're going to let you talk a little bit about the nail biter last night, the Lincoln County matchup, the kickoff that last night with North Lincoln falling to West Lincoln by a single point. The only time North Lincoln led in the game was after the first overtime.
That's right.
Not after the first overtime. After their possession
in the first
overtime when they took a 7-point lead.
Yeah, it was typical North Lincoln, West Lincoln. I don't know. We've seen it now for several years, this game coming down to the fourth quarter. Same thing last night. North Lincoln behind the whole game. You said finally tied it up.
Turned it over 4 times, Mike.
Turned it over, lost 4 or 6 fumbles. Lead. And not only that, they fumbled on their first 3 possessions and lost it. So, just couldn't get going on that, but yet still overcame all that. Got it to 13-13. We went into overtime. Of course, North Lincoln scored first, as you said, to take their first lead of the game. It was a run by Alex Duncan, a 12-yard run on an option pitch from quarterback Eli Sipe, and then to kick the extra point, 2013. But West Lincoln, on its overtime possession, 1-yard sneak by quarterback Gideon Allen, making his first start. He's the heir apparent from.
And he barely got in there, but
he got in there. And then the big decision.
Yep.
It's 2019. What do? You kick the extra point to tie. They'd kicked an extra point early in the game after a touchdown, but go for the win. And Caden Smith got the job done.
Caden Smith making his debut at West Lincoln. He was also the probably the top rusher in the game.
He completely established himself as the heir apparent to Mason Avery from last season.
I think 144 unofficially.
I had him 22 for 135.
135.
But you might want to compare to see what West Lincoln
I think that I can't remember, but for some reason I had 44 in my head. That may be something totally different, though.
He's low center of gravity, runs hard, good speed. We saw him early in the first quarter. He got by the first wave, and he was gone to the house for a 37-yard touchdown run. So he looks like the guy. They have some depth there too. They can come in.
When he breaks through, he has speed.
Yeah, they can come in with Drew Ponder. So they got a little bit of depth at that all-important fullback position. And it was just that kind of game. You can't say it was terribly well played because of North Lincoln's fumble problems. But just an exciting game between two teams that mirror each other.
I'm going to say both those teams finished the season above 500.
I'm thinking so, too. Some positives for North Lincoln, David. I thought, in particular, the debut of sophomore running back Shannon Wingate. This kid is, what is he, around 215, 6'2", 215. He's a hoss.
Yeah, he is.
And
runs hard.
Runs hard. He carried the load. He's always moving forward, it seems like. I had him with 28 carries for 127. And
I'll say this, though, West Lincoln defense, they was pretty hard-earned yards.
They were.
I mean, he didn't there's very few plays, Mike, that he had any daylight immediately.
No.
He was just shaking off some early contact and getting yards.
Yeah, and he didn't have any run longer than 9 yards. I mean, he had a couple. So, but he is going to be a key performer in their wing T offense. He's going to get a lot of carries. The quarterback, Eli Sipe, I thought he showed some mobility, particularly on those run options, waggle plays, bootlegs, that sort of thing. I had him 5 for 11 for 100 yards. Did have a scoring hooked up with, hooked up with number 21, Tyler Donahue, on a 30.
No kin to Phil.
Yep, no kin to Phil. 37-yard pass in the second half. So
real quick, we got to get into a couple things real quick. Next week we'll be at Lincoln, North Lincoln and Lincoln, another Lincoln County rival game next week. Ned, I'm gonna have to totally disagree with you here on your final message to me this morning. Feel bad for y'all trying to see those North Lincoln jersey numbers. That font is still just brutal. We could see the North Lincoln numbers a whole lot better than we could see the gray West Lincoln numbers, especially after the lights came on and it got dark. We could see West Lincoln's pretty good.
Yeah.
And thank God they're outlined in white.
That helps.
That gray, I mean, it was tough. And I think it might have to do with the kind of numbers they have. They're so close together. The digits are so close together that it looked like everybody, when they turned around on the front, had the same number on.
Yeah,
the only thing you could tell the difference was a double-digit number and a single-digit number.
Yeah, I thought the spotting was easier for North Lincoln.
Way more. But that was because they had on white jerseys.
Yeah, white jerseys.
White with a dark color.
Dark colors.
So that did make a difference.
Oh, we didn't talk about the field. Beautiful. The turf at West Lincoln.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Already a pretty place to play with the hills and everything. Just it's really stunning.
Lenny says that Straight Harrim won 5 straight state titles at South Point with an E down in South Carolina. He was Coach of the Year in 2018 by the United States Army. He's the All-American Army Bowl. He stepped down at South Point in 2019, became the athletic director at Legion Collegiate Academy, which we know.
Legion, yeah, we've heard of that.
We know from American Legion Baseball. We know about that academy for
we
sure.
do.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate our listeners. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Lincoln for North Lincoln and Lincoln. Congratulations to those teams that won locally here, Maiden with a win as well in Bunker Hill. Mike and I will see you from Lincoln Stadium on Friday night. We'll all be back in these seats next Saturday. Thanks for tuning in.